G'day again, guys, how you going? Welcome back to Hearns TV, and it's me, Dan, and I'm going to take you through an unboxing video today. And as I'm sure you can see already, you know what it's going to be on the side of the boxes, so I'm definitely giving it away. So, ladies and gentlemen, pleased to be meeting the A6A Intruder, made by a company called Grumman, an American company. And as you can see, this is a huge box. This is 32 scale, and it is made by Trumpeter. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a really big fan of the Intruder. Yeah, very, very big fan of the Intruder. Great aircraft. It was first flew 1960, entered service in 1963, and it was, the last ones were finally retired in 1997. Yeah, it was primarily used by the US Navy, but it was also used in small-ish numbers by the United States Marine Corps. Yeah, a total of a bit over 650 or around 650 were made in total, and served with distinction in a great many conflicts, including Vietnam, the First Gulf War, and over other conflict zones over the years. Yeah, it was affectionately nicknamed by its pilots and the ground crew as the Double Ugly, and what is it, the Iron Tadpole as well, because of its shape. Yeah, fantastic aircraft, the A6 Intruder. Yeah, all right, let's have a look in the box and go through the kit. So we'll open this up, and I'll move that off to the side. I'm going to put that one can go there. Alrighty, so we'll have a look at the instructions first of all. So let's get those out of the box. Now, here we go, A6A Intruder. There you can see, nice booklet, black and white. There's quite a few sprues, as you can see in this. I'll hold it up. As you can see, there's quite a few sprues in this kit, and you also get photo etch as well for it. Only two sets of decal. Well, I'll show you the decals a little bit later. Now, the Intruder was an all-weather strike aircraft, and yeah, fairly decent weapons payload on it too. Now, the one thing I like about this kit is you get full engine detail. Like, the engine's made out of several parts. You can go into extreme detail with the engine, and where the engine nacelles are, the cover ports could actually open up, and you can leave them open out so you can see the full detail of the engines. Additionally, as you can see here on the cockpit right there, where the crew would sit, you can have the model completed with the canopy slid back, so you can see inside of the cockpit. You can go into really fine detail with weathering of where the pilots would sit, and all of their instrumentation with the details on that. Excellent when you can go to put so much effort into the one kit. And there we go. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Landing gear, and this comes with rubber tires as well, actual rubber tires. I'll show you that a little bit later. Also, inside of the radome, as you could see on the Intruder, there's got that distinct, very big, wide snout at the very front of it. You can got all of the radar, the dish, antennas, everything, so you can have the radome open. Yeah, very good, very good. Now, this is one you can really sink your teeth into and fixate on. Like, yeah. Alrighty, as you can see, this is the process of it coming together, and wings folded up or down, deployed down. Wings folding up on Navy jets is very, very common because there is a very limited space on aircraft carriers. So let's have a look at some of the color schemes here. So as I was saying, like, yeah, there's only two sets of decals. Now you've got the was it gold gray with the white underneath and the sort of yellow nose, the old US Navy the old US Navy paint pattern. I love that pattern, actually. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's great on aircraft. And also the darker patches there. And, oh, excuse me. And here, there's got the other set of decal with just the grey nose there. Excellent. In addition with the, obviously with the colour patterns for the aircraft itself, you have its, and where some of the decal markings would go on the weapons here. Free fall bombs and guided bombs, anti-radar missiles, and the additional fuel tanks there. And there's some more smaller guided missiles. I think that's a Bulldog missile just there. And we'll go into more about the ordnance when we actually see them on the kit. And there you have the decal patterns there. All right, now let's have a look at some of the pieces. Now, as I was saying, this is a 32 scale, so this is going to be decent size, and you can already see that here. Look, there's my hands. Look at that. That's a pretty big fuselage for this kit. Just over 50 centimeters, I think. Now, there you've got obviously the tail section, the full fuselage, and you can see this is where the engines are going to go, just inside there and there. So for the full details, here's some of your air intakes, parts of the air intakes, and this is what would help the engines aspirate, where the air would go from the intakes straight into the engine. And there's the very front of the air intakes there, what would sit just there and there. Here, interesting feature on the A6 Intruder, just there, would actually fold down, and there was like a step ladder that the pilot and the bombardier and navigator could walk up to get inside of the plane. Now, additionally, I want to tell you about here, like the panel lining, the panel details are indented and very fine, very small. And the rivets are all there, and they're tiny rivets there. Very lifelike features. This is excellent, beautiful details. I don't think the camera's going to show it too well because they are quite fine, but that is excellent. That's really excellent to have such minute details there. Fantastic. Well, that's enough of the fuselage for now. Let's have a look, see it. What else have we got here? This is where the wings, the upper part of the wings there, and underneath just there. Once again, the details with the riveting and the panels is superb. This is the upper part of the wing, and this is the lower part of the wing. As you can see, this is where some of the landing gear would recess back into the aircraft. Then you've got all your hydraulic lines, and pardon me again, sorry. I had a bit of a head cold the other week, and I'm still getting it. You might tell my voice is still a little bit croaky. But yeah, beautiful details. And some of the flaps and control surfaces that go with the wings. What I like is here, the parts that go inside of the fuselage, the locking parts are nice and big. They'd be very strong. That's excellent. And as you can notice how the wings are cut halfway. So that's where you can have them out or folded up. And even the flaps and the surfaces here are separate from from most parts of the wing, so you can adjust them to however you want them. Pardon me again. Beautiful. Now, and here we have, yes, this is the wings, the rest of the wings there. Where this one's, as you can see, I'll turn it so you can see, that's where they're folded up, having them folded up, or flat down like that. Oh, that'd be looks like that's the top part, that's the underside. And then we have the flaps, ailerons there. Once again, you can position them however you like. So yes, a lot of good details on this. A lot of options to how you can make the kit look. A lot of model kits, in particular with 48 or 72 and 48 scales, the wings are usually just one solid piece, and you don't have the option of being able to have the flaps and ailerons in different positions. Make it a little bit more realistic. Pardon me, again. Okay, see if we can go through the rest of this with coughing as little as possible. Now the tail section here, more control surfaces, and more of them just there as well. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if we can get the light on there so I can show you what I mean with how fine the rivets are, and the panels as well. Beautiful details. What else have we got here? Sensory pod on the under. That looks like this is for the underside of the aircraft. The performance on the Intruder, its maximum speed was a bit over 1,000 kilometers an hour, and it could carry over 8,000 kilos of weapons, and it had a range of about 1,300 kilometers with its with a full weapons load. And the wings on the A6 Intruder actually gave it fairly good maneuverability and agility, even when carrying a very, very heavy weapons payload. The wings on the Intruder were further developed and later put on pivots that were on the another Grumman aircraft, the very famous F-14 Tomcat. Now, let's have a look at what we've got here. Yes, more of the control surfaces, just there. Flaps and ailerons going along the wings. More beautiful details with the panels. And let's see what else we got here. This looks to be, you're starting to get to the more of the internals. This goes along there. That goes along the underside of the aircraft to join it together. I think that's where the front landing gear would be. Actually, these are we're getting towards parts of the cockpit, just there. Yes, that's looked at as part of the cockpit. And there's the refueling drogue that looked like a horn at the very front of the side-by-side cockpit, where the pilot and the bombardier and navigator sat. And this is, no, it's still more of the fuselage. Yeah, here we go. These are the access doors that will go over the engines. That's like I was saying, you can have them open up so you can see the engines, and then more of where the air intakes and the fuselage. Oops, sorry, I probably more of where the fuselage and the air intakes actually meet together, and then what looks to be parts of the landing gear there. Yes, very nice. Let's have a look. See what we got. The radome. Look at that. Like I said, the very distinct big nose at the front of the A6 Intruder. I love the texture of this model kit as well. It's smooth, but there's sort of a very, very fine roughness, I guess you could say, to it there, and it was on the fuselage and the wings as well. And then we've got the pylons. This is underneath the wings where the ordnance and disposal stores would go. And then inside the cockpit there, that's where the instrumentation just is. And then we have some of the air brakes that went along the fuselage. These weren't painted in the either white or the gull greys that were the Navy paint scheme, because when they folded out to help slow the aircraft down, they weren't that far away from the exhaust ports of the engines, so it would just melt it off. So they just had the bare metal finish with a protective coating on it to it was heat resistant. Sorry. And here's part of these are parts of the wings right there. If you wanted to do them in the folded up position, these are the parts you're going to need for that. Excellent. All right, let's see what we got here. The engines. Yes, very good. Now I can show you what I mean when I was talking earlier. There. Look at all of that. All of the hydraulics, hoses, and everything to make that to make the thing fly. Beautiful. Lots of pieces to the engine too. I don't know, I've showed you in other model kits, with smaller ones in particular, not so much 32 scale, but the engines usually aren't made up of very large, of too many pieces, if they have an engine at all, actually, with some of them. And there's, yeah, because it was a twin engine aircraft, so you've got 2 sprues with all of the pieces for the engine. Alrighty, now let's have a look at, we're getting to the cockpit now, where the crew would sit. So I'll take that out. Let's have, this is the seats. Here we have just this, the seat for the, probably the pilot. Right there, all the bits and pieces that you need, and then second crew member just there. The bombardier and navigator on the Intruder, actually his seat was slightly lower than the pilot's, and he had mostly just instrumentation in his view, while so that way the pilot had an uninstructed view of what was going on around him. And there we have, yes, just there, this is where the two crew members would sit, just there. As you can see, I'll turn it this way. As you can see, one is a little bit lower than that one. Pardon me again. And this goes at the front of the cockpit. This is with the over the where the head-up display and all the instrumentation would be on this side here, and then it goes down that way for where the front of the canopy was. And then you have more parts of the interior of the cockpit just there, and then pieces of landing gear and other small little bits and pieces that are going to go all over the aircraft. This has got so many pieces. Yeah, I was expecting that for such a big kit. And now what are we getting to now? I've got here, these are weapons pylons. That one there. So what you get, this here was a long one that would go on the probably the pylon closest to the fuselage, where you'd have multiple bombs on that rack under each wing. And then the outer ones there that carried the things that make you go boom. And there's one for the other side. Very potent weapons platform, the A6 Intruder actually. Could carry a fairly vast array of weapons, which we're about to see. Now, what do we got? We'll start with, pardon me. Here we go, ordnance. Now, these look like Mavericks. The Maverick, that's air-to-surface missile that was for mostly armored vehicles, tanks, IFVs, and these are just basically the free fall bombs over here. And then we have these here. These, I'll hold up so you can see it. These are called retarded bombs. Once this bomb was dropped, these things back here would actually fold out like that. There was 4 of them. And as the bomb dropped, it could catch the air and would pull back and then descend very slowly, which gave the aircraft time to get away. So it didn't hit the ground and explode very close to it and damage it and potentially knock it out of the sky. Excellent. There's a few weapons payloads that you can put for this one that were for this kit as well. What do we got? Depending on what kind of mission you want it to perform. We've got more ordnance here. That's a bulldog missile, a very early guided missile, and that looks like a walleye guided bomb. And here, a HARM, a high-speed anti-radar missile, just there. And these are obviously the control surfaces for. These are the control surfaces for the walleye there. And then we have the other control surfaces that you would add onto the other weapons there. Yeah, very impressive. Like I was saying, just over 8,000 kilos of weapons on on the A6 Intruder. There's the heavy struts. There was the landing gear. And of course, I love rubber tires. I love rubber tires on model kits. It is always a really good touch to have actual rubber tires. And then lastly, the radome. Sorry, not the radome, the canopy, where the pilot and bombardier would sit and look out of. Yeah, decent size canopy on that one. As you can see, that's why it got nicknamed the Double Ugly. Yeah. And that's that. Yeah, fantastic kit. Yeah, obviously for your more experienced model maker, because there's so many parts to this. And yeah, it's $260 this kit, I think. We've only got the one. But if you get the chance to make any A6 Intruder kit, I recommend you do it. It's an awesome plane and you'd love to have it. You would love to have it in your collection. And Trumpeter, well done. This is really, really good. Very impressed with this one. It would have been nice if you had a few more. There was only 2 sets of decal. If you had a few more options, you know, that would have been good. But yeah, just before I go, guys, there's actually a movie from a while ago called Flight of the Intruder with Danny Glover and Willem Dafoe. It's a little bit B grade, but it's still a really cool movie and you really should check it out. Yeah, and after you've watched that film, come out, go out, buy this kit, take it home, make it, and you can have your own A6 Intruder yourself. Cool, cool. All right, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I love making these videos, so I hope you enjoyed this one. It's been a while since I put one out, actually, so I was about due for one. And as always, I hope to see you in store sometime soon, and rock and roll.